Salutations everybody, it is Matty here today, and we have brand new information on Starfield to go over. We are right in the thick of the hype cycle for Fallout 76, but that isn't stopping Starfield from giving us those juicy details. The following information comes from Eurogamer.com. I will have it linked in the description down below. It's a pretty lengthy interview, but this was the most standout piece of information to me that I wanted to go over. So now, let's get right in. When should we expect to hear more about Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6? Pete gives us quite the lengthy response. A while from now, and a really long while from now, respectively. Actually, I should not be so dismissive of the question, which is to say, the time frame for Bethesda Game Studios titles has not changed at all. What changed was our desires to lay out a roadmap of those titles. Not like, hey, they're going to be putting out a game every 9 months. No, it still takes them years in between projects, but because we were doing something so different on Fallout 76, taking that franchise in such a different direction, doing an online game that doesn't look like something you'd expect from Bethesda Game Studios, we thought it was important to say, hey, new IP, single player, sci-fi thing coming, hey, we are doing Elder Scrolls 6 after that, so that people didn't start spinning off on like, oh, that's the end of single player games from Bethesda Game Studios. Time frame wise, it would still be about as long as you'd expect when you look at Fallout 3 to Skyrim to Fallout 4 to Fallout 76. It's still going to be periods of time that hasn't changed, or at least I don't think it will change based on what I know. Naturally, I'd say Pete Hines knows a lot about this company, but this is very interesting information because when we look at those release cycles, it's always been 3 to 4 years of Bethesda Game Studios. Now, before we get into how Starfield is now likely a 2021 to 22 title, let's talk about how I thought that this would be different. Bethesda Game Studios has been opening brand new studios around the world at a rapid pace. They have one in Dallas now, they have one in Montreal, they have one in Maryland, they have an Austin studio, and you'd think as they expand their manpower and become this big collaborative brand, that games would naturally come out faster, not because they're rushing them, but because they have more people working on them. A lot of people don't know this, but when it was just originally the Bethesda Game Studios, the Maryland studio, the one who made Skyrim, Fallout 3, and all the games beforehand, that was a 100-man team roughly, okay? And they were making gigantic games. So it made sense when they took 4 or 5 years to make something. They were like, okay, it's a small studio trying to take on a gargantuan task. But as these studios opened up, everyone was thinking, these guys are going to get games out so much quicker now. But it seems like they're taking what I'd imagine would be the right approach to it and saying, you know what, we have all this manpower, let's not churn stuff out really fast, let's utilize this manpower to make the best, biggest games possible without a ton of sacrifice. Now, their first case being Fallout 76 isn't looking like that type of game I'd expect from a Bethesda Game Studios with triple the manpower. But let's get back on track with Starfield. I have to say that a 2021 release date is just about right. However, I remember at the Fallout 76 event, myself and a bunch of other YouTubers were talking about Starfield, and when we thought it was coming, I was like, dude, it's gotta be 2020, maybe even next year, because I thought, hey, these studios, man, I felt they could get the game out quicker. Now, I appreciate Pete Hines' very transparent answer here, giving us an exact window. It seems that Bethesda is very much sticking to giving BGS a roadmap. What's more curious to me is that Fallout 76 is going to be the game for multiple years to come. I kind of thought it'd be a title that would end up overlapping with another BGS game because you see in Fallout 76 there's a lot of reused assets where I felt like maybe the project was kind of split, like half the team was working on Starfield, half the team was working on Fallout 76 at a certain point in time, where now as 76 wraps up, they've shifted their attention to Starfield and that will come out at a quicker pace. And even though I enjoyed some of my time with Fallout 76, it didn't look like a whole brand new feeling game. Like when we look at Fallout 3 to Fallout 4, there is a pretty big difference there. Where Fallout 4 to 76, there's a lot of the similar stuff there where I didn't think it was as demanding in the terms of development, but perhaps I feel like a lot of that was underneath the hood, like getting an online infrastructure running in the creation engine. I get this question a lot, but when people were talking about Starfield and Fallout 76, which one was I more excited for? I said it was absolutely Starfield because I am a diehard Fallout fan, okay, but we just got our Fallout fix a couple of years ago. I was kind of ready for something new, and part of it was my own fault. I was expecting something new. I was expecting Starfield from Bethesda, not a new Fallout game. But the idea of BGS putting their creative energy into something brand new after doing Fallout, Elder Scrolls so many times, and then Fallout, I feel like it's gonna do them a lot of good to test the waters on a brand new place in gaming for them. But on the top of that entire list is Elder Scrolls 6. I mean, I still play Skyrim. It's been 7 years. I still play Skyrim, okay? So I can't even imagine with Elder Scrolls 6, that is gonna be immense hype levels when we start seeing stuff about that game. But given P9's answer, we also kind of have a window on that. Given that he said it's kind of the same cycle between Fallout 3 to Skyrim, Skyrim to Fallout 4, Fallout 4 to 76. We're going based off that, man. We're not seeing Elder Scrolls 6 till 2024. Blades better be amazing. Blades better carry us over for a good couple of years. Holy crap, dude. This is something else. I mean, think about that. When we played Skyrim, were any of us thinking, next time we're going to see an Elder Scrolls entry, like in the main series, is going to be... Hold on, I have to math real quick. 13 years down the line. 13. That's incredible how long it's going to take. I mean, think of your life when Skyrim came out. I was a junior in high school. And then think of your life and how it's going to be in 2024. Dog, I'm gonna be in my 30s. That's terrifying to think about. I'm gonna be in my 30s and I played the game in high school. What? Bethesda Game Studios makes you feel old, man. It's terrifying. But anyway, I just wanted to make a news update about the release windows for both Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6. We at least have a general idea of when to expect them now. And given that that's the case, I'd say that naturally Elder Scrolls 6 will be a PS5, Xbox 2, whatever you want to call it, title. And Starfield is going to be one of those, I think, bridge the gap kind of games. Like when the PS4 was just coming out, you'd have your PS3 and 360 versions. Kind of like this, where we're going to have our PS5, Xbox 2 versions, and then PS4 and Xbox One. But I don't think it'll be as big of a concern with Xbox because they all have a family of consoles that where the games can run on all of them, but some of them just run them at a higher performance level. So I think that'll be okay. I'm curious to see how PlayStation handles all of that. One thing I do want to interject is I wonder how much thought Bethesda put into the idea of announcing these games so far in advance because of the PR that comes with it. Even with Fallout 76 dropping within just a month, they are still fielding questions about Starfield, Elder Scrolls 6, and those are gaining headlines, sometimes above Fallout 76. The game that Bethesda wants to have the most emphasis on, the one that needs the most focus to sell the most, and I don't think Starfield or ES6 will detract from Fallout 76 in the terms of sales figures, but it's more so an attention thing, a marketing thing. And it also makes me wonder if that was also a part of their plan, because when you think about Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6, we're just excited about concepts, ideas. We know nothing about Starfield, and when it comes to Elder Scrolls 6, I know some fans have dissected the trailer enough to really narrow down a potential setting, but even that is unconfirmed. Now, admittedly, I have just said that I'm excited about Starfield compared to Fallout 76 just based off the sheer concept of BGS doing a brand new IP. I think that's a little bit different if you know exactly what you're excited for, but right now, in the terms of the actual game itself, it's just a concept. There is very little information on either game where there's nothing truly to be excited about other than the name alone, knowing its very existence, which I do wonder if that was part of Bethesda's plan underneath it all. Yes, I do believe their idea of announcing these games in advance because Fallout 76 is such a drastic change in pace, but couldn't they have just gotten away with Starfield? I guess the fear that comes with that is it's a chain reaction, right? You don't announce, if you announce Starfield but not Elder Scrolls 6, people think ES6 is never happening, so then you have to announce that as well. Or do you just keep fans in the dark? All in all, it looks like a giant cover-up job that seems like Bethesda is just... Huh? Who's that? Anyway, That's all the information and speculation I have for you guys. I'd love to hear your thoughts on these release windows in the comments down below, so do fire away. Other than that, follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook. Those links are in the description down below, along with my Patreon. Do consider supporting that as it fuels all the content I create here. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.